let's talk about it. How much money does the average small business owner make as the owner of that small business? In today's video, we're going to discuss exactly that topic with some extra added insights as to what these numbers really mean and what you should actually expect going into business on your own. For those of you that are new to the channel, welcome. My name is Pamela Metani, and I'm a business lawyer and founder here at Graphene Business Law, a law firm offering legal services virtually throughout the province of Ontario, Canada, to business owners and entrepreneurs. If you're new to this channel, welcome. Give this video a big thumbs up, one of these, and click on the subscribe button down below. We regularly post content here on this channel that is most relevant to business owners and entrepreneurs, although we do have other little sub-series such as the business law or law student series or LSAT series. We have it all covered. But again, most of our content is for business owners and entrepreneurs. There's nothing really in particular that inspired today's video. I mean, I'm a business lawyer and we're talking about money in the video. So I think the concept, I think the inspiration behind this video is fairly self-explanatory. And lately I have been helping some friends, not, giving legal advice. Obviously, I can't give legal advice to anybody that's not my client. I don't give legal advice on this channel, but helping some of my friends, coaching them sort of through the business aspect of starting your own business. And it is really exciting to see life through a fresh set of eyes that has never been a business owner before. But also at the end of the day, everybody wants to know about the money. All my friends, they have families to feed, they have bills to pay, as I'm sure you do and your friends do as well. So let's talk about it. Now, I will say that I was really surprised to come across the numbers I came across. And I will also disclaim that while I serve in the province of Ontario in Canada, because Google is so American-centric, actually the bulk of these statistics came from our neighbors down south in the States. And they're still super useful to us here in Canada. So there's not necessarily something wrong with that being the case, but I do want to make that disclaimer. And to be fair, that disclaimer would have to be made even for my average American viewer, of which I know there's some of you out there, because the same income that I'm about to say, in New York City is going to have a very different impact on the quality of your life versus, in Boise, okay? So there's so many levels, so there are so many disclaimers that can go along with the numbers I'm saying, but again, we are talking big picture. And insofar as that's concerned, then there's still a lot of value coming out of this video, so stay with us. Now, I came across different numbers for average, but interestingly, all those numbers averaged around the same thing. For example, an article I looked at said that the average business owner pays themselves, and that's another thing. So as a business owner, there's different ways to get paid or different ways to collect money sort of for your own pocket and your family's pocket. You can either literally take the profits of the company if it's small enough, or you could put yourself on a salary if your company has any sort of legs to it. There's a lot of reason as to why you'd want to put yourself on a salary. There's also some negatives, so to speak, that go along with that, tax implications, things like that, because now salary is going to be taxed at income rate, whereas business earnings aren't taxed at the same rate as individual earnings, depending on where you're from, but most of the time. So there's so many layers to all of this, that's what I'm saying. But again, we're talking big picture for the purpose of helping the average viewer watching this video, okay? One article said $99,000 a year, okay, as small business earnings. I thought personally that was high, but I'll tell you why these numbers are that high. Another article said that the average number was between $86,000 and $125,000. Okay, realistically, we're still averaging around 100 there. So it's the same case as the first article with a 99, touching on 100. Point being, very close to that initial six-figure point of entry. Okay, I thought that was a very high number if you want to know my honest opinion. I'm not saying that that's a lot of money. I'm not saying it's undeserved. I'm not commenting on any of that. But the average individual in either Canada or America doesn't make a $100,000 paycheck. So for then the average business owner to make a $100,000 paycheck, I felt that that was a lot of money right off the bat. Now, as a lawyer and an educated and, intelligent human being, I know that there is a huge skew to that number, okay? And that skew is the concept of averages. So I did some further digging. Depending on the article you read, it said that 10 to 20% of small business owners are millionaires. Again, millionaires has a lot of different definitions. Some people talk about cash in the bank, some people talk about net worth, all of that. But some of the articles went even further to say that 10 to 20% of small business owners earn, like they put in their own pocket, $1 million a year. That is where my nose picked up a scent on the averages being really high. That is what's skewing the numbers. And by contrast, the number I came across was that, 20 or so percent of small business owners make a really tiny, unlivable amount of less than $10,000 a year. So that's how you're getting that average number of about $100,000 a year, because those that are making, to be a small business, depending on the jurisdiction you're in, you can make hundreds of millions of dollars a year and still qualify as a small business. Most often it has nothing to do with earnings. It has to do with very technical definitions like employee size, number of employees you have, or staff size, things like that. Okay, it can have nothing to do with your actual earnings. Some of the most successful businesses you might think of might even be able to label themselves a small business. And those are scandals we saw during COVID with loans on either side of the border in the US or in Canada. These massive businesses, hate was growing toward them, or businesses that we think is massive businesses because of how much money they're making, were filing for like COVID aid and COVID, forgiveness grants and loans and things like that. And you're like, small business? Like, I just bought my makeup from you the other day, or I just bought my car, tires from you the other day. How are you a small business? You're making so much money. But again, that's the concept of the skew of averages. So do I think these numbers are the most helpful numbers in the world? I actually don't, and I'm going to tell you another reason why I don't think they're that helpful. Do I think there's an exciting big picture there to look at? Yes. I think overall we're painting a fair big picture that there is that average number between people that are getting wealthy off of having their own businesses and people that are starving. But another layer to these numbers that you might not have thought about is the reality of what kind of business is standing the test of time to begin with. I've put out content on this channel as to what is really driving small business growth and the rate at which small businesses fail. Okay, I'll summarize some of the failure stats really quickly right now. 20% of small businesses are said to fail within their first year of business. 30% of small businesses are said to fail within their first 2 years of business. 50% by year 5 and 70% by year 10. So there is almost, a guarantee, depending on how you look at statistics and those percentages, that somebody will fail being a small business owner, okay? Now, keeping those numbers in mind with the number, you see in incomes reveals further trends to us. For example, it is astonishing to me. I tell any, client, colleague, I have my own shop, so I don't have any, colleagues in that sense, but I tell any client, any acquaintance, any, buddy trying to have their own shop, that don't be discouraged, because those first 3 years are meant to be difficult. They are meant to be difficult. It is a overwhelmingly positively surprising scenario in which one makes money to support themselves off of in their first year of running their own business, or even in their first, those 2 or 3 years. By year 3, you should be getting close to successfully, sustaining yourself and meeting all your needs kind of thing. If you're still scrapping at the bottom on year 3, there are other issues going on. But again, the 20% of businesses fail by year 1 and 30% fail by year 2, that to me speaks so much to the blindfold that is put around all of this data, or put around those of us trying to access this data. It's so hard to cut through this data, and just the lack of preparation that these individuals starting their own businesses are doing. How can you fail? Because what would make you fail on your first year of business? What would make you close up shop? Logic tells us, right? It's not that your sign came out the wrong shade of hot pink, No. What would make you close up shop is that you're not making any money, is that you feel you financially failed. You can't support yourself, can't support your family, you can't do this any longer because of the money. Now, of course, there's all these, one-off circumstances, somebody, whatever. I don't even want to go into the list because it could be infinite. But money, how are you surprised that you didn't make money your first year of business? You're not supposed to make money your first year of business. Okay, so, and by the way, to be very clear, I'm talking first full year of business, okay? I'm not talking in this scenario, although the data would classify any small business, no matter how much effort you put into it, as a small business. But I'm not talking about the scenario in which you have a small business that takes like a phone call on every other weekend. I mean like full time, you're at the door 80 hours a week, small business kind of thing, okay? So how could you think you didn't make enough money to support yourself? You were not supposed to make enough money to support yourself this week. This week, but all 52 of them this year. So there is, small business owners or, those looking to go into small business, please do your research, okay? Please do your research. Please do your research thoroughly and make sure you understand the competitive landscape you are going into. Is it a worthwhile landscape? Yes. So many books I've read, including very old school, like some of the standard top 5 books on wealth, things like that, like The Millionaire Next Door, I think cites this site and, highlight the fact that small business owners are disproportionately wealthier than other professions, if you can call it, okay? And there's a lot of reasons behind that. It's your working environment is very different than it would be for somebody else. Your freedoms, your chance of risk you can take versus reward, things like that. Like there are so many reasons why there's more success found in that pond than others. However, for every successful person, I would say that there are multiple starving small business owners, okay? So I hope this video has been helpful. I wanted to put it out there so that this data is out there. Next time you're Googling how much does a small business owner make, or, Googling data to that extent, and you come across these articles, and I think for the average person, those are high numbers. But there's, again, all the different flavors in the background I want you to understand about. I want you to understand about, the disproportionality in the wealth in the small business world. I want you to understand the concept of average versus median. I want you to understand, that so many people are shutting their doors and they're not represented in these statistics. So I want you to understand all of that and then some by hopefully continuing your research on the topic. Thank you again very much for watching. If you found this video useful, give this video a big thumbs up and leave us a comment down below. Your comments are one of the best ways we continue to grow our community here at Graphene Business Law. We've done a really good job of growing it over the years. We have thousands of followers, and I can see on the back end the rate at which you guys share content is really good. So keep sharing, commenting, liking, subscribing, and of course, for any legal inquiries in the province of Ontario, Canada, as pertains to running your own business, you can always send us an email, info@graphenebusinesslaw.ca, and our website is graphenebusinesslaw.ca. Thank you so much for watching.